Hey, let's talk about a game you haven't even heard of since half a year ago. We're going to go into the undeserved fall of Back for Blood. Oof. I'm going to talk to you about how Back for Blood was the biggest miss of the year and how it ended up becoming better than its abusive father, Left 4 Dead 2. Okay. Shut the fuck up right now. I can already see and smell the fucking deodorant of Axe shower in a can from you guys storming my house. This age as well. Sit the fuck down. Rat King's in town. All right, baby. All right. Claps hands together. Yes. Back for Blood was a zombie shooter game with up to 4 characters to battle through the horde. If you haven't heard of it, when it was going to release, it was very highly anticipated before it flopped. This game went off the exact same formula that led to Left 4 Dead's insane success. And considering it even had the same people that made Left 4 Dead 2, it was practically a guaranteed sell due to the nostalgia of one of the most influential games ever, having a fucking left child. However, the 8 months anniversary of Back 4 Blood is being celebrated not too happily by only having a third of the player count, the 13-year-old Left 4 Dead 2. Yeah, Back 4 Blood, as of the last 30 days, has only had 4,000 average player count, while Left 4 Dead 2 was 14,000 average. That's fucking insane. Yeah, the year difference on that should speak for itself on how bad of a difference that is. All right, well, let's get into some of the reasons why everyone ramped in this game faster than their newfound father being threatened with child support. Let's see what Left 4 Dead and why it was made a masterpiece. What made it a masterpiece? This game actually was scary. Like, there were times that I was like actually spooked in this game. Like the fear creeping in, we just massacred a horde of clowns covered in blood, as if they were just role-playing as my ancestors during the Holocaust. Not to mention the faint weeping of the witch, which was like no other. Followed by the commentary of the characters, like whispering to turn your lights off, was actually pretty fucking spoopy, bro. It was a pretty dark and gruesome game, and that was pretty baller. It was one of the first games besides Left 4 Dead that used a multiplayer zombie killer, and that was a huge success. It was pretty new at the time for what it did. And then for the next one, I'm just gonna say Ellis. Ellis was a masterpiece, baby. Listen to this shit.
My buddy Keith tried camping out on top of a building once. He was shooting crows, but the police were too busy tear gassing him to ask what he was doing up there. He screamed for an entire year every single time he opened his eyes. Oh man. At first it was funny, then it just got sad, but then it got funny again. Oh man.
Ellis's batshit stories about being a war criminal and violating multiple acts of the Geneva Convention actually give this game its hidden charm. This game was also released relatively healthy, but that really wasn't the important part. The important part was it was polished instantly due to the modding team and not the actual team that released it. The mods, hand down, were one of the most important parts of Left 4 Dead 2's success. Its ability to have mods was huge. It made it so that people could take the base game and they could like fix all the bugs to it. They can make the graphics way better. Fuck, people were making entire other Left 4 Dead games out of this shit. It was insane. Yeah, and mods really made it so the game didn't get stale, because there were other games inside of Left 4 Dead 2. It was crazy. And the chemistry the characters had with each other was pretty fucking good. Not to mention the single-handedly best thing to come out of Left 4 Dead 2, which is Ellis. I mean, that man I'm canonically gay for. You can quote me on this when I'm running for president. He is the best voice lines ever. There's a lot of dialogue for all the characters, so even on replay you catch some of the stuff you didn't hear before. Alright, now let's go into the disaster that was Back 4 Blood 2. I'm going to compare it to the same elements as Left 4 Dead 2 for a neat little summary and what led to its downfall. So comparing it to Left 4 Dead's atmosphere, this game is not scary at all. If anything, it even looks more cartoonish. I personally was hoping for a graphical revolution, which is kind of what held Left 4 Dead 2 back, and they could use that for a truly dark, gruesome story, but nah, they just went the cartoonish route, which isn't a game breaker, but definitely not what I was expecting. Alright, for the next one. Obviously, this isn't the first structure of the game we've seen with a zombie slayer like this, but it's not super tapped into the field with a multiplayer one. And none of the other games copied Left 4 Dead exactly until now, and I think it's actually pretty good that they copied it. Alright, this game did not release well at all. All regular people bought this game and played it on the normal difficulty, expecting to breeze through the story. Unfortunately, this game was made apparently with the fucking hatred used to make Dark Souls 3, but imagine you can't roll because you're a paralegic. It became the hardest game in the universe. On normal difficulty, even Reddit and Discord mods struggled, and they haven't even heard of the concept of grass. People weren't even getting past the first act of the game, and it severely turned people off. And they decided it was way too hard, which is fair because it felt impossible to overcome. Back 4 Blood later came out with a statement apologizing that there was a bug spawning far too many specials, which just led to instant losses. But they announced this in November. The game was already out for a month since then. And when the game first came out, it started with an average player base of around 30,000, 40,000. The next month went down to 10,000. Pretty sure it was due to this bug. This game, unlike Left 4 Dead 2, does not support any mods. And there seems to be no plan for that to change. Well, I think this is a big mistake and an overlook. It's obvious that this is a lot more complex game with a card system built in. And with the card system being built in, I'm not necessarily sure that mods are needed. But mods are always nice, and they gave the game a lot of replayability. So that's definitely a miss in my book. The chemistry in this game doesn't really feel like it's there with its characters. It usually ends up feeling bland at best and annoying at worst. I've beaten the game 4 times now, and I'm already sick of hearing the same exact lines over and over again. And Evangelo talking about his grandma's cats, which could be a play on words, and he's talking about getting it on with his grandma. Kind of scared. Another issue that this game has is it released as a $60 title. That's a lot. Even if it did release as this, there's no reason the game should be $60 still. Its player count down and made a DLC that gave some more life into the game, but unfortunately that DLC wasn't even free. It was an extra $15, putting the game at $75 overall. Once the price drops, hopefully it will get some more love from the skeptics. When people paid $60, they expected a perfect game, as they should. This is why the Back 4 Blood player base died, and you know what? It deserved it. People paid top notch to get a polished game, and they didn't get it, so they complained, and then they left, which is pretty fair. I also stopped playing it too. I mean, they broke their own game. But then, something great happened. They fixed the fucking difficulty. Thank God, I can actually now play this on normal mode without feeling like I'm wearing a maid outfit again with my uncle. This game is still insanely hard, but now it's actually manageable, which is how it was meant to be. Now, I'm going to talk about why this game is now better than Left 4 Dead 2. Discord mod, shut the fuck up. Left 4 Dead 2 is a cult classic, but it's also super bare bones. Guns are straightforward with only 2 tiers of them and virtually no customization. There's no perk system or anything of that matter, and that makes Left 4 Dead 2 very difficult to replay. There's just almost no reason to replay it. Me and my buddy went and played the entire thing. We just went right through it and beat the whole game. And after that, we've never wanted to play it again. We already played it all through the first time, and nothing is going to change on the second replay. There's no card system. There's nothing different that's going to happen. So it just really loses a lot of replayability. And that's what gives Back 4 Blood the edge over it. Back 4 Blood really fixes the replayability aspect that give gun attachments a lot more significance, and it makes playthroughs really fun because you can make some insane guns that would even be accepted by American school shooters. This perk system makes you go respectively awooga. Like, every playthrough is really dope because you can select the cards you're needing for this playthrough, and that's a really fun thing because you can see like what you're really struggling with in the playthrough and select specific cards for it to help, and it gives it a lot of replayability. And there's lots of also really fun builds you can do, like full melee builds that heal you, or super fast speedster committing hate crimes against the zombies, or even a shotgun build that a Republican would be proud of. Now, for the big question, should you buy this game? No, not at all. It's $60 still. It's just too expensive of a game right now. If it was $40 or less and you have friends to play, then snatch it up. Me and my buddy have had a blast on it, But we already spent the $60 at the start. We're just making do with what we already paid for on it. I've played 120 hours on it around, and that's around 50 cents an hour. It's been worth it to me because I have friends to play with it. So, fortunately, if you're still unaware of what the outside world is and your full-time job is moderating, this might be a pass on this game for now. But, please keep an eye on this game, because it's a pretty damn good game now, and it's my favorite zombie killing game ever. Thanks a lot, Dying Light 2, for not being able to change that sentence.